Is it crooked?
A little bit.
That's what happens when I do it on a budget. We're not a proper. Is that good? Oh, well. Favorite instruments though?
Pizza flute. It's a Chinese flute.
Wow. Okay. Unexpected.
The duduk.
Also unexpected. What keyboard do you play on?
Doepfer. It's a German keyboard.
I do a lot of my stuff mobile just because I have this more nomadic personality. Yeah, I just M-Audio stuff, Oxygen, just things like that.
What software do you use to record?
We both use Logic, actually.
Logic? Okay. Will we ever see, and this came up a lot, any sheet music for Ninjago pieces?
Yeah, we talk about this a lot, actually. We've talked about it a few times.
This is a really popular question.
Yeah, we really want to do it. I mean, we haven't had a lot of time.
We almost never write for the piano itself in the show, so everything would have to be, okay, we're taking, it's called a piano reduction. You take a whole orchestra and you have to reduce it. What can be played easily by two people, by two hands.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
It's coming.
Where did you get the inspiration for the Falcon's theme?
The Falcon originally, we both kind of decided that we were going to use like a folk fiddle, and then we both kind of contributed to that first scene with the Falcon, and then you kind of ran with it because then it was time to do the TikTok episode, the big Falcon chase. That was something that we gave to you.
So when the Falcon shows up, do you kind of go back to that music every time?
Yeah.
That becomes the Falcon's piece type thing?
Totally.
Okay.
Everyone knows what happened in season 1.
What happens?
Nindroid.
Man,
Nindroid! Everyone
I'm
knows.
a Nindroid? Do you have specific music for each of the ninja?
The Green Ninja has his own theme. The Ninja as a team have their own theme. Nia has her own theme. But
when she's becoming the water ninja, not Nia, just herself.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Zane here. And it's not.
No, the individual ninja don't necessarily have their own theme.
Write a piece for Zane!
Well, it's all dictated by the story. So, like, for instance...
That's the problem. They need to write more about me.
For instance, there's a theme for, in season 7, with Kai and Nia and their parents. So there's kind of a family theme for that family as well. So it focuses on that.
Jay's parents have a theme.
Yeah.
So anytime Jay goes back to the junkyard, you have that. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's not a theme for just them. It's a theme for like their history, like their own lore.
Does our voices influence your music?
1,000%.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
it's like, for instance, like a dialogue scene. I mean, we'll play the dialogue as we write and listen to it and almost treat like your voice as the melody and kind of do an accompaniment to that.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah,
basically. No. So let's go back and change our answer. What's your favorite instrument?
Not change the answer.
What's your favorite instrument?
Zane's voice.
You guys ever create a piece of music that's absolutely not Ninjago related, like, and you just have it sitting around or whatever that you've done in the past, and you go, oh, that piece is perfect, and you plunk it in the show?
I got one. Yeah, I got a big one actually. The theme for Sensei Yang and the Haunted House, which then kind of bolstered up, became the theme for the Preeminent, and thus the theme for the whole Ghost world in season 5. And then you heard it again the day of The Departed. That is it's tweaked. It's much more chromatic, it's much more creepy and Halloweeny, but the basis of that came from this old short film I did with a friend of mine years ago called Help Me Please.
I didn't know
Which is about an unfortunate incident that happens in a public bathroom.
What sparks your guys' ideas?
It's a boring answer, but the scripts, the stories.
That's good.
That's all. That's
I thought
all.
you were gonna say Red Bull, but we'll take that. So how long does it take you guys to do an episode?
That's not up to us. That's up to the schedule.
Yeah.
Usually it's a 2-week period.
Okay.
2 weeks, which sounds like a long time, but since the music is wall to wall, it's 22-minute episodes, and more often than not, we're dealing with a full orchestra and like thematic stuff. I mean, it's quite a bit. Like, it does take 2 of us.
Do you ever work with the Fold?
Most of the time during the show, working on the show, actually, they kind of do their own thing and we do
their own thing.
Yeah.
Who are your biggest inspirations, both of you guys?
I listen to the most random, weird stuff that has nothing to do with the music I'm actually writing. it just gives me like a slightly different perspective. So I like to listen to classical and folk music from all around the world. Right now I'm really into Mohammad Reza Shajarian, which is kind of like the Pavarotti of Iran. Lord of the Rings, Howard Shore. I love Peter Gabriel's scores.
2 Johns, John Powell and John Williams.
All right, they're Johns.
Yeah.
Mike, you worked on Thor 2.
Yeah.
How much music did you compose for it?
Thor 2, I think I did 3 scenes. There's a couple battle scenes that stand out. It's one where they're like tumbling between the different worlds, and they're going through like the wormholes. That was a really tricky cue because it was constantly changing, but it was a lot of fun.
There's a lot of people on my channel that create stop motions. They need help with their music. What advice do you give to young people?
I used to do this, so like that's for me. It's a trip to work on Ninjago at all. When I was a kid, I stole my dad's camera and made stop motion Lego films.
Really?
That's what I did. Yeah. I remember I had like fishing line, and I had them like fly down into the castle and to find it. It's on VHS somewhere.
Do it.
Post it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be awesome. What a trip.
Find your favorite soundtracks and start lining things up and cutting it up and experimenting.
Do you guys compose for any other cartoon series, or right now Ninjago is your life?
You know, we did the Yoda Chronicles and stuff, and we've both
You did that too to get together?
a little bit, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and so we each have our own projects and stuff, but we do way more than animation. You know, we both do feature films and documentaries and some trailers and stuff.
Another show that I work on is the Freemaker Adventures. It's a Lego Star Wars show. It's on Disney XD.
Yeah.
So we've done 2 seasons of that actually. That's
You guys are busy.
Yeah.
How long does a scene take? We talked about an episode, but when you're creating a scene, is it like could be done in like half an hour one time, and then the next time it's like 8 hours?
Totally depends. For me personally, action sequences tend to take a lot longer than dialogue sequences.
Right.
Just because there's more notes.
Yeah. When you're composing something, you're like, it's missing something. Do you know right away? Oh, that's the so-and-so Duco Bachamba. or
I love that instrument.
You know?
Subtitle that.
Is that what you do, or do you pull out like 10 and try them all?
It really just depends on sort of the genre and like the point of view of something. You know, if we're sort of cooking up our own cocktail, we can be more experimental. Then we can sort of try 10 different things. I mean, instruments at the end of the day, they're there to perform a function. The function is either melodic or harmonic or just, you know, for color and character. So usually we can hear something that's like, okay, this is missing, it's like a chef. Okay, this is missing salt. This is missing flour, it's missing substance and stuff. So it's like, okay, it's missing a color, or it's missing a melody, it's missing a character. So even if we can't point to a specific thing, we can point to the function that we need it to serve, and then we just sort of use the tools we have.
What was your inspiration for Moro's theme?
It's got this this interval, so basically like these 2 notes, and it's a specific interval called a tritone, and in the history of music, it's often called like the devil's interval. It's got like a really sinister kind of sound to it.
Oh yeah.
And so we based a lot of it off of that, and then also.
So you're playing the devil's music. Thought you guys were like good guys.
That's the thing about writing stories.
You're playing to the evil character, so you're fun, right?
You're playing a role. It's like musical acting.
Yeah.
I knew rock and roll was the devil's music. Everyone said that.
It's not just rock and roll anymore.
Yeah, apparently the composers are the worst for that stuff.
Man.
If you play your music backwards, does it say anything?
No. There's this piece by Camille Saint-Saëns that's
Camille Saint-Saëns.
Danse Macabre.
Danse Macabre.
Great person to hang out with on the weekend.
The story behind that.
He's dead, so he's a ghost.
He's
yeah.
He's a dead Frenchman.
Whoops.
The story behind it is that it's like it's at night, and like all the dead. It hits midnight, and all the dead come out and do a dance. And so we kind of took inspiration from that piece too.
Wow, man, I wasn't expecting dead and devils and stuff. I wish I asked a different question. If you guys had an elemental power, what would it be?
Man, that is a good question.
Like a new one that's not already in the show?
You can create one, man. Like mine would be wind, because if you farted on me right now, I could just go and I could hit Mike in the face with it, and then I have nothing. I will never smell the farts.
That's such an accusation. I know we're on a first name basis, but let's you know.
No, I'm saying if you did, right? I could just go.
Honestly, what is the guy's name? Bolobo, the master of nature. He could like make things grow. He was the big bearded guy in the
How do you
Chen
remember
season.
his name?
That's a
That's
character?
crazy.
From the scripts.
That's amazing.
Wow,
you remember that.
Dude, that's impressive.
Jay has a freakish memory. Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's insane.
And anyway, so yeah, he's the big bearded fella that like makes everything grow. He had like the wooden stick.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool power.
Time. Yeah, give me some time blades, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so no one wants wind. You don't want a Tracy's?
No, I don't
You
want to
don't
blow
wanna trade
farts on people.
I mean,
Are you sure, man? It's really powerful.
It does sound satisfying.